In case the part where I bite that dry bread there, right? Okay. That's
8 o'clock in the morning, and we called for it, and it has happened.
And you get it.
But it ain't quite what we were expecting.
Or was it?
Or was it? Yeah.
Or was it? Or was it?
Question is, do we have a big up for Kiesal Peters, the Honorable Kiesal Peters, Minister of National Mobilization? And there's a release on API. Minister calls for decisive action. Minister of National Mobilization, Honorable Kiesal Peters, has called for a collective approach and decisive action in breaking the cycle of violence. In a statement yesterday, Minister Why? I wish the public could have seen that live.
Why was this?
That's what you just run? That's what you just run?
Man, think it just come on over here. Yeah. Wow.
Boy, no wonder you had to walk your dogs.
Wow.
And now run.
Boy, I just had the most exhilarating ride in town.
Oh my goodness.
Oh Lord.
That's why you didn't answer the phone.
You,
Anyways.
What a buzz.
All right, so let me give you that again.
If I just give you a bad ride, I apologize.
Terrible. Minister calls for decisive action. Minister of National Security, Honorable Kiesal Peters, has called for a collective approach and decisive action. Yeah, remember, she's no longer Minister of Foreign Affairs.
Oh, you're done with the other issue. Oh, God, and he's me rushing down to hit you on
he was ready. Don't worry, we'll come back on that.
We'll come back on that.
And in a statement yesterday, Minister Peters condemned the recent acts of violence and insisted that as a nation, we must never grow numb to this violence.
When she changed the...
Completely agree. I big up for that. I agree. We must not look the other way. Each life lost, each person harmed is a tragedy that demands our attention and action. So I want you to remember that piece.
Action.
Remember attention and action.
Oh, nice words, man. Lovely words.
The minister urged women in abusive relationships to seek help as the state provides resources and the necessary safety net to help women in such situations. I will say there's some truth to that. I was reliably informed. To the women of our nation, if you are living in fear, feeling unsafe, or enduring abuse, please know that you are not alone. Help is available. We urge you to reach out, whether you will speak to a friend, a relative, social worker, or contact our office. Taking the first step could save your life. The ministry is here to listen, to help, and to support you. She went on and she also reminded citizens that they have a role to play in breaking the cycle of violence in society. Time to act is now. Speak up when you witness abuse. Support survivors with empathy. Challenge harmful behaviors and toxic attitudes. Hold each other accountable.
Remember that.
Hold each other accountable. Because real change begins at home, in our communities, and in our everyday interactions. Now, on the face of it, all for it.
Nice.
All for it. I think she said things that are true and that I do agree with. However, you've skipped some people or some factions of our society that also have to hold responsibility for the crime and violence that we're experiencing.
And they are?
One of which has to be the Ministry of National Security.
All right.
One of which also has to be the Royal St. Vincent and Grenadines Police Force.
All right. You see what we're doing, right?
Well, more than that. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Remember what, I don't know if you said it on air or if you said it off air, what Grant Connell was telling us.
Mm-hmm.
That
your lawmakers,
if you see, like, for example, in Trinidad, he said, if a 12-year-old shows up in the hospital pregnant, right? DNA is automatically taken.
Mandatory.
There's no choice.
If I think
a report is made,
I think he said if there are 4 or 5, how much ever men who are accused of it,
yeah,
you're taking DNA
from each
for all.
Yeah.
Right.
The police are informed immediately.
Right. So you have things like that. You have things like sentencing,
which is controlled by Parliament.
You know what I mean? So it's not like we're not capable of doing things, right? But for whatever reason, right? We don't want those things in place. Right? Things that we could do. We don't do it. Right? And it does beg the question as to why.
So it's all well and fine to say
I don't think anybody wants a 12-year-old to be pregnant. Clearly, it's gonna affect her life.
the baby's life.
It's gonna affect the baby's life.
Family
it
life.
contributes to poverty.
Yeah.
It contributes to all kinds of social problems, right? Not to say that where it's happened, it's an impossible situation and people can't recover from it, but it's definitely not what you want to start your life with, right?
Yeah.
Right.
For the mother or for the child, right?
At 12 years old.
At 12 years old.
Hey, so
You know what I
you
mean?
know
These issues of police beating up people. I mean, you can't do that and then expect them to contribute
What we do-
towards.
what
To come to you
Yeah,
as a
to
safe
me,
haven.
what she has done there, right? It's kind of like
She's deflected.
you're deflected and you're,
Yeah.
you're putting the blame where you think it should go, but not
You
where it
can't, you
should
can't
be.
have a situation where a guy gets shot in his yard. 3 people, or 2 and maybe a third, were identified as being
Yeah, the
present.
ghost. I forget the ghost.
Yeah, the ghost,
Yeah.
Casper and
Remember,
Casper.
there was the
Casper,
third person.
Casper,
I don't think they
Casper.
ever revealed who the third person was.
Casper.
Right? And the conclusion of it is that none of them were to blame.
You're to blame. Meanwhile, though, let us not forget, though, meanwhile, the big man, the head hunter, the grand jefe, said when the incident happened, you called me first.
Yeah. So, I mean, I do agree, right, that we live in the part of the world which is prone to drugs, particularly to cocaine, right?
Right.
We live in that part of the world. I mean, it passes through us. Obviously, somebody's going to get left behind. Obviously, there's going to be, gangs and conflicts that arise from that. But do we really do everything in our power?
Questionable. Well, not questionable.
I
think it's no.
I spoke to a police officer yesterday, right? Relatively senior guy. And he told me that when he used to have to sleep in the barracks, right? And this is relatively recent, right? When he went home, he used to have to take off all his clothes before he got in the house
Because
he brought bed bugs home.
You're joking.
she
Right?
did sex.
Bed bugs could kill her if
Yeah.
it gets
Yeah,
out
yeah, yeah.
of hand.
Yeah.
Right?
Basically poisons your blood.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is so my question to him, I said, well, why? Surely most of the senior officers have grown through the ranks. Not many of them have gone straight to the top. So most of them should be aware of it. But he says that they don't seem to care once they're out of that situation.
But I keep.
And I
telling
find
you all this.
I find that astonishing. That if I grew up in substandard conditions, I thought I'd want to improve them.
It's almost like that whole thing where you want your kids to do better than you.
Yeah, but
The
it
thing
doesn't
with
appear
that-
so.
No.
I struggle to you struggle.
You
Yeah.
struggle,
Yeah.
and that's it. Because
Right.
at the end of the day, I going home.
I could make it. So why can't you?
Why can't you? Exactly.
Yeah.
That is what going on there.
So and all so he was telling me like a lot of officers,
Demoralized, probably.
right? Sometimes now he suspects that they're getting a bad report when they apply for another job, like overseas, and they need a reference. They're getting a bad reference, not because they've done anything wrong. This is what he suspects. Obviously, it's difficult to prove. To stop people leaving. Like morale is just poor. Because I was asking him, I said, why you all keep beating up people? And he said it's just a symptom of multiple things. Frustration in the
yeah.
job, relatively poor pay, poor conditions. Like he says, I said, like, why don't you use handcuffs? He says, well, they have a couple of pairs, but nobody could find the keys.
But one key opens all.
Exactly.
Well, apparently not.
Like they can't find
Apparently
one.
not.
Yeah, my one.
Right? They don't seem to have those tie locks.
Sides,
Yeah.
like the fences.
Right.
How difficult would
Which
it be?
are dirt cheap, I understand.
Exactly. How
Right?
difficult would it be to get that?
Auto keys.
So you have, right? So yes, in isolation you could say yes, we have this,
Community should do better.
but you have to look at a much wider issue. Why are all these things occurring?
It's
It's a hard one. Huh?
yeah.
It's a hard one when there's no real incentive, or there's no real, like at the government level, there's no real.
I do
It's not
think-
where they want to spend their money.
I don't think the police realize when they're being cared about. You see, now election time, I care about you. Because why?
I don't think we have the money to care about them even in the election now.
Well, even the kind of one thing you were just talking about. I mean, is it a coincidence? It's election time.
Okay.
You gotta say what you gotta say, huh?
If you go on that same kind of one thing, look at, you could really only say Sandals has done well. The one place they just closed down and have given up. The one on the hill,
But that just the
he's
ornament.
just there, but it doesn't seem nothing really happening.
Ornament.
We forget David Ames, right? If you keep taking on people that don't have any tourism experience, what do you expect? Even with money, what do you expect? The only one that had any tourism experience is who? The Sandals.
Mhm.
They clearly knew what they were doing.
And clearly, who making it?
Yeah,
Sanders.
all the others.
Mhm.
So, yes, I could understand your rationale for Canawan, but remember, you also double down on Canawan. You can't leave that on NDP. You double down on it. You give them more land,
What did
more
I
concessions, right?
say?
But what you have to ask is the government competent in selecting appropriate partners? David Ames, clearly bad choice. The Black Point guys,
Bad.
clearly bad choice.
Black Sands.
The guy up on the hill,
Bad.
clearly bad choice. The Canawan people, you
Bad.
know, he's a software guy. The Pelly.
He's not in tourism.
No, he's in software.
No, I didn't know that.
The even the marina. Have you ever? Marina's prettier, pretty, but nothing happens there. Nothing happens there.
Photo shoots.
By my understanding is that the guy doesn't even expect to make any money there. He doesn't care about that. That's just it's a plaything. So why are we investing or why are we partnering with people that clearly don't have?
That vested interest.
They're not even like good partners.
But it goes back to what we said this morning.
They're just
Because
rich
clearly,
dudes.
right? But clearly,
Somebody's
somebody winning.
Somebody winning, yeah.
Somebody winning.
And now you have an election season. The government's starting to feel a kind of way about it.
Yeah.
Because
So you come now
because we of all the projects, there's only one has done anything.
down the road.
Right.
Nobody
And,
else.
and the truth is, I was telling somebody this morning. The truth with Sandals is Sandals needed us as much as we needed them. We didn't have
But
to bend over
our
and give them everything.
negotiation skills are horrible.
Huh?
Our negotiation skills are horrible.
Terrible. We're like Trump. We talk, but in the end, we give it all away.
Yeah. And then come back to say, oh, you know, you can walk in.
Yeah.
Well, there.
What did you expect?
And then you're coming, and this is my question again. Who winning? One. Two, why no? Because if you say,
I think there's only one question: who winning?
Well, who's winning?
It ain't us.
all right, well, yeah.
But somebody is.
Yeah. And if you say that,
Even with the Sandals thing, which you know is doing its thing, but we're not winning on that. At best, we're not losing.
Yeah.
At best, but
but
we're not
we
winning.
definitely are winning.
We don't own anything.
I don't know.
We're not getting the maximum.
Huh?
Shelton.
No, I'm talking with Sandals. We don't own any.
Shelton. Oh, Holiday Inn.
Holiday Inn.
Yeah, hotel, motel, holiday inn. Say what? You know what I mean? That kind of thing.
Even that boy. If something doesn't happen for that soon, we're gonna say
Again,
Wasted money.
again with the Holiday Inn. My understanding is right, and maybe government will correct me if I'm wrong, but most of the business they're getting is government business. Now, what does that mean?
taking your money from your left
That means
pocket and
that-
put it
And
in
put
the
it
right.
in the right.
Well, no, worse than that. It also means that the local hotels are now not getting it,
That part.
So they're going down in the dumps
right?
to try and make one survive.
Right.
Hey, man.
See, I mean,
You've got to question. You've got to question the decision making on these projects. So, all right, we kick out the Canawan guys. Who are we going to put there?
and that's
if-
my question.
If I had to guess,
Sandals.
no. What they should do is break it up and give different beaches to different developers.
Thank you.
Right? That's what they should do. But I suspect what they're going to do, they'll give it to Waste. If I had to guess,
You know, I forget about these. Yeah, you forget everything about you and June.
why are you saying that?
No.
Why?
They're not gonna get it. He's not gonna get it.
JD,
Why?
I'm telling you, he's not gonna get it.
Why?
JD.
Listen,
Man been invested big money, huh?
The man working for it.
He been invested
remember the
big
man?
money,
He
huh?
was the man who went up on a podium and said, no. Somebody asked him for, let me just say, 1 mil. And
And
he
he got
feels so
an
bad.
anal
He
lobotomy.
get an anal
And-
lobotomy.
And the other thing he has in common with all the others is that he doesn't have any experience in tourism. So he's a prime candidate.
He keep a winning factor there, man. We're going to some commercial. And we coming back. Bye. On the steady.
Like I've heard this story before.